saw it yourself. The subject was supposed to be keeping the lights on. Are we doing enough? And instead, the focus seemed to be keeping us in the dark.
Well, yeah,
very refreshing change in this House.
And it was embarrassing. I mean, Senator Landrieu, in the Senate conducts this hearing, basically saying, how did the public find out about this? And yet, on the opposite side, in the House, is we've got Mike McCall from Homeland Security, who not only attended the hearing himself, but is letting the bill, the CIPA bill, out of committee, which will help us hopefully going forward.
This is really important because this was a subcommittee hearing of the Homeland Security Committee, as you say. The chairman of the full committee doesn't generally attend these subcommittee hearings. Mike McCall made a point of coming to this one both to make a personal statement about the fact that he thinks this is important, and then he actually made a statement to the effect that he thinks this could make all of the other kinds of problems that we're worrying about pale by comparison, because as you understand and as you've done so much to help illuminate, this is a nation-threatening danger. And I think he was there in part, and he was attesting to the importance of legislation that would make the electromagnetic pulse threat, specifically EMP, a planning scenario for the Department of Homeland Security. Imagine, it isn't today. That's an important piece of legislation, and he's behind getting it, as you say, out of committee. And I think Pete Sessions, the chairman of the Rules Committee, is co-sponsor. He will, I think, make sure that it gets to and through the floor. And then maybe we can actually start getting something done about this grid vulnerability.
And the shame of this thing is that, there are so many other countries who have a strengthened grid, and we, supposedly the most powerful country in the world, don't. But, when you talk about people like Fred Sessions and you've got Waxman and Markey and Trent Franks, Pete Sessions, I should say, then you have to look at someone like Fred Upton, who's chair of the House Energy Committee, who gets most of his contribution from energy companies and lobbyists, a one-time grid supporter who is preventing bills from coming up for a vote. I mean, what can the public do in a scenario like this?
Well, I think what they first of all need to do is precisely what you're doing, is getting smart about it. We have a website I would commend to them, securethegrid.org. It's a one-stop shop on the kind of problems we're talking about. Fred Upton, you're right, has been in the past a supporter of some of this legislation. At this point, he has not allowed it out of committee, not this Critical Infrastructure Protection Act, but something called the SHIELD Act now. We need his help in getting this also enacted, because at the moment what's really missing, Judge, is the engagement of the electric utilities, who you'd think have got as much at stake as anybody in this thing, to fix the vulnerabilities of their infrastructure and thereby ensure that all of the other critical infrastructures work as well.
All right, Frank Gaffney, always good to have you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you. The pleasure's mine.
And instant poll results, what do you wish politicians' mothers taught them?